That he went on to make songs about it and so forth and so on. That same silver gun that was on the table when he was arrested, that one silver revolver with the long nose on it, was the gun that he put to my head, screaming, "Bitch, I'll kill you, bitch, I'll kill you." We're gonna go truth for truth. Truth is, Clifford Harris put a gun in my head. Truth is, I didn't have a weapon. Truth is, I didn't call the police on him. Truth is, I didn't sue him and I could have. Truth is, I never spoke about this on the many times I could have spoke about it. That's the truth.
Tell the truth about me. Tell the truth about what you did to me and apologize. I'm gone. I don't want one dime. Those were the haunting words that set off one of the most chaotic celebrity feuds in recent history. A saga that dragged on for years, sparked a wave of online outrage, and left fans questioning who was telling the truth. But now, after nearly 4 years of silence, lawsuits, and rumors, the truth is finally catching up. Tiny Harris, wife of rapper T.I., is speaking out for the first time since a shocking court decision officially cleared her family's name. And not only that, the couple just walked away with an unbelievable $71 million courtroom victory that has the internet in absolute disbelief. So what really happened between Tiny, T.I., and Sabrina Peterson? How did one accusation turn into years of public scrutiny? And how did the Harrises manage to turn one of the most painful chapters of their lives into one of the biggest legal comebacks of the decade? Let's break it all down. Before we dive in, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because this story is going to have you rethinking everything you thought you knew about this celebrity feud.
But this is a part of my trauma. This is a part of my truth. Your husband put a gun to my head after me looking out for you on several occasions.
Our story starts back in January 2021, when influencer and salon owner Sabrina Peterson shocked social media with a viral accusation. In an emotional post, she claimed that rapper T.I., whose real name is Clifford Harris, had once put a gun to her head during an argument. In her own words, Sabrina said, "This is so old, but it's part of my trauma. This is a part of my truth. Your husband put a gun to my head after me looking out for you on several occasions." The claim immediately sent shockwaves across the internet. Screenshots and blog posts flooded social media, hashtags spread across platforms, and within days the story had taken on its own life. But Sabrina didn't stop there. She followed the accusation by filing a defamation lawsuit against both T.I. and his wife Tiny Harris, claiming that the couple had publicly mocked her and tried to destroy her reputation through social media.
Truth about me. Tell the truth about what you did to me and apologize. I'm gone. I don't want one dime.
It has been 3 trials.
Yes.
What do you guys think about the verdict and how do you feel?
Just blessed.
Yeah,
amazingly
extremely
blessed. We wish that we could see the jury.
Yeah, we
Thanks
thank them
to-
enough
so much thanks to the jury.
for seeing what we've been fighting for.
She also claimed to have received stories from over 30 women who allegedly had similar experiences with the couple, allegations that were never proven or supported with hard evidence. T.I. and Tiny both denied the accusations from day one. T.I. took to Instagram in an 8-minute video telling his followers, "Don't be out here spreading propaganda just because you're unhappy with your life and yourself, man. God has blessed you too. Don't look to nobody else and point blame at somebody else because you ain't tapped into your blessings yet." Tiny also clapped back on her own account, posting photos of Sabrina's son and urging her to get help. The situation quickly devolved into a social media storm. Every major entertainment outlet covered it, and every time the Harrises made a public appearance, whether it was a new song, a TV project, or even a family celebration, Sabrina's accusations would resurface, reigniting the controversy all over again.
Don't be out here spreading propaganda just because you unhappy with your life and yourself. Man, God has blessed you too, man. He got your blessings. Don't look to nobody else and point blame at somebody else because you ain't reached and tapped into your blessings yet.
For years, the Harris family lived under a cloud of public suspicion. Their marriage, careers, and even their children were dragged into the narrative. But behind closed doors, instead of responding to every rumor online, Tiny and T.I. decided to take a different approach. They would fight this battle quietly, in the courtroom, not on Instagram. Fast forward to March 2025. After years of back and forth, delays, and missed deadlines, the legal system finally had its say.
So T.I. and Tiny have won a $71 million lawsuit against MGA Entertainment. That is a toy company that they said violated the intellectual property rights of the OMG girls with their LOL Surprise OMG line of doll.
In Los Angeles, Judge Michael Schultz officially dismissed the remaining claims in Sabrina Peterson's defamation case, not because the evidence proved her wrong, but because she had failed to prosecute her own lawsuit. According to court records, Sabrina had missed multiple filing deadlines, failed to appear for hearings, ignored discovery orders, and had still not paid the $96,000 in attorney's fees she owed to T.I. and Tiny Harris. The court's message was clear. She hadn't followed through on her own case, and that was enough to bring it to an end. The case was dismissed without prejudice, meaning Sabrina could theoretically try to reopen it in the future. But for now, the legal battle was over. Sabrina's new attorney, Kia T. Middleton, called the ruling a misjudgment of justice and blamed Sabrina's former lawyers for mishandling the case. Middleton argued that Peterson shouldn't be punished for her previous team's ineptitude and vowed to appeal the decision. But to the Harris family and to the court, the matter was settled. After 4 long years, the defamation cloud hanging over their names had finally lifted. Just days after the court ruling, Tiny Harris finally spoke out. In an interview clip that quickly went viral, a reporter asked her how she felt about the verdict. Tiny responded calmly, "It's blessed. We thank the jury for seeing what we've been fighting for." Her tone wasn't bitter or boastful. It was peaceful, the voice of someone who had already won.
But what came next caught everyone's attention. Tiny took to social media, not to gloat or throw shade, but to post a series of short, cryptic messages. Without mentioning Sabrina's name, she wrote, "You can't keep lying on people forever and expect peace." Fans instantly understood the subtext. After years of silence, Tiny was finally releasing the truth, not through a rant, not through interviews, but through quiet confidence. Sources close to the Harris family revealed that Tiny had been sitting on a collection of screenshots, text messages, and receipts for years. Those messages allegedly showed that Sabrina had once sought friendship and even potential business collaborations with Tiny before turning on her publicly. The implication was that Sabrina's motives may have been personal, not moral. The message was clear. Tiny had kept her receipts, played the long game, and let the truth do the talking. But the drama didn't end there, because while Sabrina's case was falling apart, Tiny and T.I. were busy celebrating another legal victory, one that had absolutely nothing to do with Sabrina. In that same month, March 2025, the Harrises received a monumental news, a $71.5 million judgment in their favor against MGA Entertainment, one of the largest toy companies in the world. The lawsuit centered around the OMG Girls, a girl group Tiny and T.I. created for their daughter Zonique Pullins. They claimed that MGA's LOL Surprise OMG dolls had copied the group's distinctive look, style, and creative identity, right down to the colorful hair, outfits, and personalities, without permission. After 3 separate trials and years of legal back and forth, the jury finally sided with the Harrises. They awarded the family $17.9 million in actual damages and an additional $53.6 million in punitive damages, bringing the total to over $71 million. When the verdict was announced, Tiny told Rolling Stone, "I feel amazingly blessed. We thank the jurors for seeing what we've been fighting for the last 3 trials." T.I. echoed her sentiments, saying, "Justice was served. This is about protecting our creativity. Too often, big corporations think our work is free for them to take. Not this time." Fans praised the couple for their perseverance and strength. After years of defamation, online hate, and false rumors, Tiny and T.I. had come on top, not just legally, but personally and professionally. They had protected their brand, their name, and their family legacy. Still, Sabrina wasn't ready to give up. Just days after her case was dismissed, she filed a motion asking the judge to reinstate it, claiming she had been blindsided by the dismissal. In court filings, she said, "I was shocked and at a loss for words. I didn't even know my case was being discussed that day." She blamed her former attorneys for failing to keep her informed and argued that their negligence had caused her to lose her case unfairly. But T.I. and Tiny's legal team fired back almost immediately, calling her motion yet another delay tactic. They pointed out that Peterson had missed multiple deadlines, ignored court orders, and failed to meaningfully participate in the case for years. At that point, public sympathy had largely evaporated. Fans who once followed the accusations closely were now calling for the drama to end. Through it all, Tiny kept her composure. Instead of gloating, she shared a handful of peaceful and reflective messages with her followers. One post read, "Peace only comes when you let God handle what you can't control." Another said, "Some lies take years to unravel, but when they do, they hit harder than truth ever could." Her followers filled the comments with love and support, calling her grace under fire and applauding her for staying classy in the face of so much public turmoil. Behind the scenes, Tiny and T.I. were already moving forward, literally. The couple was in Thailand, celebrating 15 years of marriage. T.I. shared a touching Instagram post saying, "For 15 years, we've been vibing in holy matrimony, in love all over the world, to the love of my life." However, the accusations were explosive, and the public couldn't look away. But here's the crucial detail that would eventually shift the narrative. None of these claims were ever substantiated with evidence. T.I. and Tiny Harris consistently denied all allegations. T.I. even took to Instagram to post an 8-minute video passionately defending himself, saying, "Don't be out here spreading propaganda just because you're unhappy with your life and yourself. God has blessed you too. Don't look to anybody else and point blame at somebody else because you ain't reached and tapped into your blessings yet." Tiny, in turn, shared posts about Sabrina's son and subtly suggested Sabrina needed help, adding fuel to the social media fire. From this point on, the Harris family found themselves under a cloud of public scrutiny. Every new song release, TV appearance, or family milestone seemed to trigger a resurgence of Sabrina's accusations. Fans and followers began to feel that these claims would never lift, and the Harrises, their reputation, their marriage, careers, and even their children's lives were caught in the crossfire. Yet, despite the constant online attacks, T.I. and Tiny chose a different path. They fought quietly through the legal system, demonstrating patience and strategic focus instead of engaging in public feuds. After years of litigation, court delays, and ongoing tension, the system finally delivered a verdict that would reshape the narrative entirely. In March 2025, Los Angeles judge Michael Schultz officially dismissed the remaining claims in Sabrina Peterson's defamation lawsuit, citing her failure to prosecute. Court documents revealed a pattern of negligence. Sabrina missed crucial filing deadlines, failed to appear for multiple hearings, ignored discovery orders, and hadn't paid the $96,000 in attorney's fees owed to T.I. and Tiny Harris. The court's message was clear and firm. If you do not show up for your own case, it cannot proceed. The dismissal was without prejudice, meaning Sabrina could technically attempt to reopen it, but for the moment, it was effectively over. Sabrina's attorney, Kia Middleton, called the ruling a miscarriage of justice, blaming previous legal missteps and promising an appeal. But for T.I. and Tiny, this dismissal represented the end of a long and exhausting chapter. For 4 years, they had endured public accusations and had been forced to navigate a legal minefield that tested their patience, resilience, and resolve. And now, after years of waiting, the scales of justice seemed to finally tip in their favor. What made the story even more compelling was how Tiny chose to respond. Instead of a public outburst, a rant, or a social media meltdown, she spoke with calm authority, demonstrating that years of waiting and preparation had given her strength and clarity. Just days after the ruling, she asked, "It has been 3 trials, and what do you guys think about the verdict, and how do you feel?" The response was simple, just blessed. Tiny continued, "Blessed. We wish that we could have seen the jury. Yeah, we thank the jury for seeing what we've been fighting for." Tiny also made posts online that, while cryptic, carried a powerful message.
You can't keep lying on people forever and expect peace. Fans immediately understood who these messages were about. Sources close to the family later revealed that Tiny had preserved screenshots, messages, and receipts showing that Sabrina had initially sought friendship and even business collaboration before publicly turning against her. These preserved communications suggested that Sabrina's motives were personal rather than moral, adding layers of complexity to an already tangled story. Just as Sabrina's lawsuit collapsed, Tiny and T.I. celebrated one of the most significant victories of their careers. In the same month, March 2025, the court confirmed a $71.5 million judgment in favor of the Harrises in a long-running case against toy giant MGA Entertainment. The lawsuit involved the OMG Girls, a girl group created by T.I. and Tiny for their daughter Zonique Pullins. They argued that MGA's LOL Surprise OMG Dolls line had infringed on the group's look, style, and creative likeness without permission. After 3 trials, numerous delays, and years of litigation, the jury ruled in favor of the Harrises. They awarded $17.9 million in actual damages and $53.6 million in punitive damages, a sum that reflects not only financial restitution, but also recognition of the intellectual property and creative work T.I. and Tiny had fought so hard to protect. Tiny told Rolling Stone that she felt amazingly blessed, while T.I. echoed her sentiment, emphasizing that justice had been served and underscoring the importance of protecting creativity from corporations that might otherwise exploit it. Fans praised the couple's resilience. They had weathered years of defamation, rumors, and lawsuits, yet emerged victorious on multiple fronts. Meanwhile, Sabrina was already attempting to appeal and reinstate her defamation claims, further illustrating the uphill battle she faced. Even after her lawsuit was dismissed, Sabrina filed a motion to reinstate it, claiming she was blindsided and shocked by the ruling. In court filings, she wrote, "I didn't even know my case was being discussed that day," and blamed her former attorneys for what she called a miscarriage of justice. T.I. and Tiny's legal team quickly countered, labeling this as another delay tactic and highlighting her repeated failures to meet deadlines, follow court orders, or meaningfully participate in the lawsuit over the years. Public interest in Sabrina's claims had already waned, and the momentum clearly favored the Harrises.
Despite years of online attacks and courtroom drama, Tiny maintained composure. Instead of posting victory rants or engaging in public confrontation, she shared short, peaceful messages about karma, healing, and letting go. One post read, "Some lies take years to unravel, but when they do, they hit harder than truth ever could." While another reminded her audience that true peace comes when you let God handle what you cannot control. Fans flocked to the comments, calling Tiny "Grace Under Fire" and praising her poise. Meanwhile, Tiny and T.I. celebrated 15 years of marriage in Thailand, a personal milestone that felt like a symbol of victory on every level, legal, professional, and personal. T.I. posted, "For 15 years, we've been vibing in holy matrimony, in love all over the world to the love of my life." The timing was almost poetic. Vindication in court, recognition of creative work, and a thriving marriage all converged at the same moment. The timing couldn't have been more poetic. As one chapter of conflict and chaos closed, another opened, one filled with peace, partnership, and prosperity. For T.I. and Tiny Harris, this entire saga is more than just a story about lawsuits or headlines, it's about legacy. After years of scrutiny, their names are finally clear. Their creativity has been legally recognized and protected, and their perseverance has paid off in ways few people could have imagined. For Sabrina Peterson, however, the story has taken a different turn. Her credibility is now under question, and her legal future remains uncertain. Even if she appeals, she faces an uphill battle, not just against court rulings, but against public fatigue. For fans, this story serves as a reminder that sometimes the loudest voices don't tell the truest stories. Silence, patience, and consistency can speak louder than 1,000 social media posts. Tiny didn't have to scream her truth. She simply lived it. She let time and truth do what they do best. Reveal everything. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. The universe might not balance things out when we want it to, but it always does. Eventually. At the end of the day, Sabrina's lawsuit has been dismissed. T.I. and Tiny's $71 million victory has been confirmed, and the truth has come full circle.
Tiny Harris didn't just defend her family, she protected their legacy, one patient step at a time.